So the president, Chris Cuomo, challenged him about his thoughts on South Africa. Let's get an update from Lauren Southern right now. Hey, Lauren, how are you?
How are you?
Doing well. This is something that you've covered, and I believe we've had you on to discuss before.
Twice.
2 times. And you can find out more about Lauren and what she's covering with this stuff at laurensouthern.net. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. So what is going on in South Africa? Is it true that white farmers are having their farms taken from them?
Yes, it's insane to see the liberal media right now saying that Trump is a conspiracy theorist. This is all lies, because this is quite public knowledge. The South African government have said they're doing it. They've started seizing their first couple hundred farms. Now, what the liberal media are trying to spin it as is they're saying, oh, the government, first of all, they're saying this is in the Constitution, so it's allowed. Yes, you can amend your country's laws to do any number of horrible things. You can amend your country's laws to say Jews aren't humans or white land can be taken, right? So they've just amended the laws to say we can steal from white people. And that is what is occurring in South Africa. And I'm so glad that Trump has called this out, because the UK government said, we need land reform. Every other government has been completely silent on this topic because they are afraid of pissing off the South African government, which it shouldn't matter. What they are doing is unethical. We should call it out. Any nation that believes in property rights and not discriminating against people's skin color should call this out.
Well, the thing is, Lauren, this is also isn't new. This didn't just start happening a week ago. They've amped it up. But this goes back a decade when they started doing this stuff.
Right. So when Mandela came in, he said the goal was they wanted to take land from white people from the start. They wanted it to be a nation where mostly the Bantu people own the land. But what's crazy is Mandela at least said they wanted to compensate white farmers for the land. So the current ANC is even more radical than what communist Mandela was proposing for the policy, because they aren't giving any compensation at all. They're just stealing the land from these farmers.
Now, are they injuring the farmers?
Well, this is something that is a little more controversial to talk about. The land issue is 100%. We know they're stealing land from farmers based on their race. The other side to this is there are farm attacks going on against South African Boer white farmers constantly, where they are being tortured, raped, just horrific things. And a lot of this comes from the rhetoric in the nation that everything is white people's fault. They deserve to be punished for the crimes of apartheid, even though, of course, it wasn't all whites that participated or created that system. And another thing that is very scary is there's a successful politician in South Africa, one of the second largest parties there, called the Economic Freedom Fighters, who has said, we don't quite want to kill whites yet, but no promises for the future. And he has sung songs about killing whites. He has said we need to cut the throat of whiteness. So, while white farmers are not being killed yet, there are politicians that are elected in South Africa saying that may very well be the plan for the future.
Okay, so we have no proof yet. The reason I bring that up, obviously, is, the president tweeted, I have asked Secretary of State Atsek Pompeo to closely study the South African land and farm seizures and expropriations. Expropriation and the large-scale killing of farmers. South African government is now seizing land from white farmers. So killing of farmers.
It is a fact that there are a large-scale killing of farmers in South Africa. It's not confirmed whether it's the government facilitating it or not. But if anyone can look into it, one of the most dangerous jobs on earth to work is as a farmer in South Africa.
Okay, so give us an idea of how this is being laid out with them taking farms, because they've already taken some, and I imagine that more are coming.
Right. So right now, why the liberal media is trying to say this isn't a big deal is the first farms that are being taken are farms called fallow land. So it's land that's not currently being used. But if people know anything about farming, it's that you have to rotate where you are putting your crops. Otherwise, you will overuse the land and make it entirely unusable. So there are white farmers that are leaving their land fallow so that it will be healthy and they can plant crops there later. And then the government is just coming in and taking those. And this is an extremely scary thing because, first of all, I've been through the Bantustan farming areas. So these are the Black tribal homelands, and most of the land there have these huge cracks and rivets in it from over farming. And that land is practically useless for decades afterwards. And the white farmers, the Boer farmers, as well as black farmers, they feed about 2,000 people per farmer. So you get rid of this fallow land from farmers, you give it away to people who don't know how to farm. Not only are you taking away a food source for thousands of people, but you are potentially damaging the land for decades afterwards by giving it to people who don't know how to farm it. And we know that the ANC are not going to be giving this farming land to expert farmers. They're going to be giving it to friends of their party. They're going to be giving it to political operatives. They're going to be giving it to people who are going to support them because that's what this is. This is a policy brought in for votes, not to do something ethical.